This egg drop soup really does tick all of the boxes for fast, easy, and nourishing. It's a Chinese restaurant favorite that I'm sure many of you have had before, but I love that it can be made in about 15 minutes at home, and it's a simple combination of good-for-you chicken broth with a swirl of protein from the eggs. Now there's of course a few other ingredients that make it extra special, but needless to say, it's a recipe that you should definitely have on repeat during soup season. So let me show you how to make it. To get started, you'll need 4 cups of chicken broth, and you'll pour about a 1/4 cup of that broth into a small bowl or measuring cup so that you can make the cornstarch slurry, which adds a silky texture to the soup. So add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch to that and then stir it together until it's nice and smooth. Then in a second small bowl or measuring cup, crack 3 large eggs and lightly beat them together. I do recommend using a measuring cup if you have one, as it'll just make pouring the eggs into the pot to form the egg ribbons a bit easier. And that's pretty much all of the prep work required for this soup recipe. Now tell me you don't love that. So to make this soup, pour the remaining chicken broth into a pot over medium heat and bring it to a simmer. There are numerous ways you can make egg drop soup, but I love to add a teaspoon of ground ginger, half a teaspoon of kosher salt, half a teaspoon of toasted sesame oil, a 1/4 teaspoon of tamari soy sauce, a 1/4 teaspoon of ground turmeric, which is optional, but I love to add it for both color and flavor, and a pinch of ground white pepper. Whisk that together and then pour in your cornstarch slurry, which I somehow didn't get on camera, but it's in there. And you'll notice there's no big bubbles on the soup right now. That's the level of reduced simmer you need when you pour in the eggs to make the egg ribbons. And to do that, I like to just create a vortex with the whisk and then very slowly stream the eggs in the opposite direction. But the most important thing is to let about half of the egg mixture set for about 30 seconds or so without stirring and before adding a bit more so that the eggs firm up. If you stir too early, you'll just end up with a cloudy soup, and you really do want to see the defined egg ribbons or egg flowers, whichever term you prefer, in this egg drop soup. So once the first set of egg ribbons is formed, I'll just thinly stream some more into the pot and let those set as well before gently stirring one final time before serving it up. For a little garnish on top, you can thinly slice a green onion on a diagonal, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then ladle the egg drop soup into bowls. You can see the turmeric really brings out the yellow color in this soup, and I also love that the turmeric and ginger add a little anti-inflammatory boost. They might not be as traditional or classic ingredients, but I sure love to add them, especially this time of year when a lot of people are under the weather. So, moral of the story, consider this a nourishing, healing, easy to digest soup that's right up there with my chicken soup recipe, but even faster to make. All right, I'm gonna lift this up because Murphy's Law. I will spill this down the front of me, but let's take a bite. So good. Just a single bite of this feels like it's gonna heal you from the inside out. You've got a little bit of the hint of the ginger, you've got some depth of flavor, but you can definitely get that nourishment from the chicken broth, and it has just a silky smooth texture from the cornstarch slurry. So it's just like a little bit thicker than a regular brothy soup. And then the egg, of course, makes it delicious. Now, I will say that my egg ribbons were probably not the best I've ever done while filming. It's always hard to position yourself to stir and pour without elbows and hands blocking a camera, so I was kind of at a weird, wonky angle today. So I have done better egg ribbons in the past, but it takes a little bit of practice, and either way, it's gonna end up very tasty, even if you don't have the most perfectly formed egg ribbons. Now, Emily, my social media manager, was telling me while we were filming that her mom always made her egg drop soup from childhood and loved to put corn in it for a little bit more heartiness, and I thought that sounded delicious. You can also do some sauteed mushrooms. I've also seen some crab meat added to egg drop soup. There's a lot of variations, but this is a simple, basic recipe that you can whip up like that. I hope you guys enjoyed today's egg soup recipe. I can't wait to see your photos on social media. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you love the recipe, do make sure to go over to my website and give it a 5-star review. That means so much to me. All right, we'll see you guys in the next video.